you, Mr. Chairman. I have about 4 documents I ask for unanimous consent to be entered in the record. The first one is titled Crime and Murder in 2018, a preliminary analysis. The second one reads, border communities have lower crime rates. The third one reads, amid crisis rhetoric, local leaders defend border region from misconceptions, and this is a report from the Rio Grande Valley in Texas. And then the last one is Progressive Times, Mission, Texas, Sheriff, crime dropped 10% in rural Hidalgo in last year.
Without objection, these documents will be entered into the record. The gentlelady is now recognized for 5 minutes.
So, Mr. Attorney General, what is it in your mind that leads you to conclude that the border region is crime-ridden when these documents that I just entered the record clearly show that Del Rio, Brownsville, El Paso, all the areas in the border region, and in fact even El Paso is listed in the top 29 cities where crime has gone down that you quoted in your written testimony. If all of these stats show differently, why are you still insistent that this is a crime-ridden area? And I just, please, a short answer because I've only got 5 minutes.
I don't recall saying today that the border region is crime-ridden, but I will answer your question as fulsomely as I can. And that is that illegal immigration through our southern border is dramatically and negatively impacting the crime rate in our cities. It would be lower if we didn't have illegal immigration. I point to the example of Molly Tibbetts.
So you're talking about other cities, not the cities there, in fact, in the border areas.
Well, I think you would agree with me that most illegal immigrants that come in through our southern border don't reside at the border region, that they transit through there, then make their way to other parts of our country.
Well, I know many come to Houston because we've got good jobs and we're an open city. But I heard you say earlier, and maybe the word crime-ridden was not the exact word you used, but it was alluding to the fact that the border areas had a lot of crime. And I just simply don't agree with you. But let me move on to another topic in following up on some questions about the family separation policy or the zero tolerance policy. You said earlier in answering a question about some of your background that you were by a general session side for a full year side by side, and you were aware of everything in the Justice Department separation policy. Is that true?
I served as chief of staff for 13 months, and I'm familiar with the zero tolerance policy. Yes, I don't.
Well, but you said you were with him side by side. So, can you tell us if you were in the room when it happened, when the actual zero tolerance policy was hatched?
I participated in discussions about the zero tolerance policy internally, but again, I'm not going to talk about the internal deliberations. The decision was to issue a zero tolerance policy.
But who is the brainchild of the policy? Who hatched it? I mean, where did it come from? We've never had it before and to the level that it's being executed now.
It was General Sessions' decision to implement, and he signed the memo implementing it and distributed that to our border district U.S. attorneys. All
right, so let me go on and ask this question. How many children are still separated from their families as we sit here today?
That's a number that only DHS and HHS would know. As I sit here, the Department of Justice isn't involved in handling children that are encountered at the border, whether as a family unit or as unaccompanied minors.
So you have no idea how many children might be. You've not seen any documents cross your desk from DHS or ORR or anybody else?
Again, those are different departments within the
No, I know that, sir,
but
I know that you're the acting attorney general, and you get a lot of reports, a lot of documents, a lot of data. You've not seen anything to give us any idea just how many children have been torn away from the arms of their mothers.
No, I would have to refer you to HHS and DHS again.
Do you know how many have been reunited with their families?
Again, Congresswoman, those are not statistics that I'm involved in because those cases,
again,
those matters are being handled by HHS.
You don't have to be the one to write the little finger sticks counting the children. I just want to know if you've seen anything cross your desk or any member of your staff so that Americans who are just find this policy to be abhorrent and inhumane, you have an idea as to when the children will ever be reunited with their families. You cannot tell us that today.
No, I would have to refer you to HHS and DHS, which would be responsible for the parts of the process. Because once we receive individuals for prosecution under the zero tolerance policy, we only deal with the adults.
All right,
and
one
we
last
don't- and we
question,
don't keep
since
track of
I'm
that
running
data.
out of time. At the State of the Union, the president said that he was going to make, and I'm paraphrasing, a priority to make sure that people with pre-existing conditions were protected. Does that mean that you're going to drop all the ACA litigation that you're involved in?
As you know, Congresswoman, that the Affordable Care Act litigation is ongoing in the Fifth
Well, I know
Circuit and
that. The
other
question
circuits.
is, are you going to be willing to settle it? Are you going to be able to drop some of that since the president is changing priorities and direction for his Department of Justice?
The
Again,
time of the gentlelady has expired. The witness may answer the question.
We have a unitary executive, and if the president sets a policy and issues a policy directive, we will follow that policy.
Thank you.